arsonist had oddly shaped feet. It's live. You can start talking. And
Welcome
go.
to 2 days. It is Tuesday, August. What was it? The 12th, 13th, something like that. Whatever the case is, we a couple days away from another round of preseason games. Some interesting news and notes around the NFL worth talking about. As always, Andy and I are going to present two topics for you today at 2 days. My topic, I'll go first. I want to talk a little bit about the Raiders, whether they're bluffing or they really may trade Khalil Mack. And then kind of parlay that into a discussion about what is going on with this kind of the offshore betting market, hanging these wild props just as like a marketing tool, and kind of give some perspective on, like, don't just deposit money at a book that has terrible lines at anything you actually want to bet just to get action down on some of these terrible lines. But let's start with Mack and the Raiders. Pretty well on the record here as how important Mack is to the Raiders being a good team this year. Their defense last year was Mack and 10 guys who were terrible. It allowed offenses to basically put three hats on Mack, take him out of the game, and then they could do whatever they wanted against the Raiders. I was not particularly high about a lot of the Raiders offseason moves. I think John Gruden, the GM, has a whiff of not really understanding how to construct a roster in 2018 NFL. And that would be supported by the idea that he's even considering trading Mack, who's absolutely a franchise cornerstone. And I wouldn't, I don't think it's even reasonable to like expect that any team would give up 2 first-round picks for him or something like that. The only the only trades I've seen floated are the Packers might, they have, because the Packers have the Saints' first-round pick next year. They may have 2 late first rounds they can pretty much put together for a Mack trade. I don't know that that's equal value, really, if you're coming in 2 picks in the 20s. The Raiders just need to get this guy under a reasonable contract. They've given money to so many other lesser players, kind of in the similar way that, Aaron Donald needs to get signed. Get this guy signed, get him in camp, get him some reps with the first-round team. See, put your defense together, guys. And I'm not just saying this because I want to bet the Raiders week 1 on the money line on Monday Night Football. So John Gruden, the Raiders situation, I think it's all silliness and the smokescreen, and there's really no reasonable trade partner out there for him. And he's going to end up playing all 16 games for the Raiders this season. And John Gruden needs to stop with this nonsense. That said, did you see what my bookie hung as the opening lines for what team will Mack play on week 1? What the hell, man? What are they doing? This is these nonsense props that keep hanging up. Let's frame this a little bit. They keep hanging these nonsense props for like limit bet $25 limits, and they get you to deposit whatever you deposit in there, some crazy ridiculous bonus that you end up with where you have to roll it over 500 times. And, then you're like, oh, I could finally bet on this bet. This is free money. And you bet your $25, lock that up for the season. Or lock that up for, the preseason at least. And then you're stuck there with all this money in your bankroll. You're trying to figure out how to get your free bet rolled over. In the meanwhile, you're getting juiced out all over the place because over the course of, 500 bets, the juice you pay there is more than you're going to find at other places where you can get reduced juice or more competitive odds. So, I think this is something people need to kind of wake up on and stop falling for this effectively a marketing ploy. And, on the flip side of that, if you want some free money, then go for it. Just recognize that after that bet has been cashed, it's going to be kind of a struggle to actually, make any, get your money out, first of all. And then second of all,
I've heard some horror stories about withdrawals as far as, even getting your original stake out, it seems like it was tough for some people based on the rollover. Be like, well, no, you bet your money and lost it. The money that's in there is your bonus money, or however they want to screw you over on that. It's kind of tricky. They're just a marketing tool. It's a way to get you there. They don't care if they lose, if they lose 90% of the bets in these ones because they're $25 props. Like they're capped out very small. just to get people to deposit. It's just a new form of the deposit bonus, and it's silliness, but it's still like we can sit here in our ivory tower and like rip on that, but I still like looking. Like they're still entertaining. Like I can't.
Great point. That's a great point.
It's still fun to like
point.
maybe not handicap it, not put much time into it, but like to think about it because they are pretty funny lines sometimes. As far as
it's a genius strategy.
The thing they'll put lines
so
on,
smart.
just hilarious.
Yeah. It's so smart though at the same time. Like they're getting mainstream run people talking about because people like want to talk about betting anyway, and it's boring to be like the line is blank. Now we have nothing to add. It's much more fun to be like, hey, this book has an odds up for what what team will Mac play for in 20 and would you believe it? The Packers are favorites. I mean like it's makes for easy content, but it's such lowest common denominator stuff.
No, that's a way better headline than way better headline for if you want to preface something on a betting article than well, the Bears are their total wins is set at 6.5 or whatever. People, it's much less interesting, even though that's something you have way bigger limits and possibly a better edge on if you do have any feelings on something like that and like a win total.
What's your topic?
Des to Cleveland calling it. It's happening. He's meeting Thursday. Even if it's a disaster, it's going to be so good for Hard Knocks. And I think he wants to play for a contender, realizing that's not happening. I think maybe I've always thought of him as kind of an idiot, kind of a knob dick. But I think possibly the fact that he's even meeting with a team like Cleveland, he either he realizes or his agent has told him like, you need to go prove it. Like you looked like shit. Your tape looks terrible. You weren't good. You had a Twitter meltdown on people. Like you need to go put some good tape out there and play well. And it's a prove it. It would be a prove it deal. That's the only way this would get done. So definitely it'd be awesome for Hard Knocks. It might be nice to add a veteran presence. And it's funny, like he's only 29. In my head, for some reason, he's way older than that. Like he's this guy that's been around forever, which still 29 is a little older for a receiver. But it could be real interesting. Tyrod could have a nice little stable. Callaway's looking good. Njoku, and there's a guy that hasn't even shown up yet because I think he's still hiding from the cameras. So I mean, you could have Dez and Gordon and Njoku and my boy. Who's my boy out of the backfield? Duke.
Oh, Duke could be Johnson. A nice little. He's good. Yeah.
So also I've bet on the Browns season win total over. So I'm awful hopeful that good offense can overcome terrible coaching.
Do you think that makes a difference if they bring in Dez?
Do you want to call him like a mentor or possibly like a veteran calming presence? Because I don't think he is. I guess I'm interested.
Yeah.
It could. I don't think it'll be a neutral presence. It'll either be, oh, this was really good for the team, or holy shit, he's detrimental.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's more likely to be A. I'm with you that the perception I think is warped because he was so heavily featured in the Cowboys offense and he had so clearly lost a step last season that it was kind of like, oh, it's over, period. Like he's done. And in reality, like, yeah, you can't be a wide receiver one, but can he be a complementary piece? Sure. This is probably a fine situation for him. He's going to have some interesting matchups against some relatively soft cornerbacks, especially early in the season. So if he can find a groove,
we're talking like he's signed already.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, it's this is the point of this. Hypothetically, I think it's a situation that makes sense. But I'm still buyer. I'm still prove it. As much as Dez has to prove it to get a new contract, I'm prove it with the Browns. My expectation is they're going to come in between 3 and 5 wins, and that's born solely out of Greg Williams, the terrible coach on defense, and Hugh Jackson, the utter nightmare at the top of your franchise. So I'm still, cautiously optimistic about how likely the Browns are going to be to get their win total. I know you like it a little bit more. We talked about it with BP last night, but Des would I think tip the scales a little bit and help the Browns this season.
I like it. Well, we'll be back tomorrow, and we will be recording the last 2 divisions tomorrow, which should be out this week. All the previews will be done for the NFL for the season. Then we'll have to start getting into, I don't know what. It's not even preseason week 2 yet. We've got that coming up, which I definitely we'll touch on a little of that. We started, I don't know, did you do this? I give you an assignment for the afternoon. We're going to go over the schedule a little, see if there's all the scheduling things we talked about during the regular season. We're going to kind of poke around on that, see if there's anything fun in the preseason where possibly some edges could be gained where we haven't quite seen them yet. So
I'm with you.
Well,
preseason
till
edges.
tomorrow.
Take it easy.